Hi guys, and welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast with me, Alex Whiteley. Today's podcast comes from a place of random sporadic planning. If you like listening to podcasts that are carefully curated and feature interviews that were planned weeks in advance, then this is definitely not one of those things. But it is one of the best interviews I keep saying this. I think because I'm in the zone at the moment, but every week I'm speaking to people that are passionate about things, and this is probably one of the longest interviews I've recorded in a long time. It is actually, and it's because I was speaking about things that were so organically interesting and good for the soul that today's guest featured a longer feature than most because we just carried on chatting. And this it came from I had something that opened up on the weekend, gave me a bit of space to be able to squeeze this interview in, and I genuinely really care about sharing news about good people doing good things in this town. And I think today's guest, Sian from Duty Life, and who is planning the Happier Festival, is doing something extraordinary in town. That's what I think needs to be talked about because it's all about well-being and good stuff. And I think I actually really like the brand. I like what they're doing, and I like her. I think she's fantastic. So this was planned very short notice. So thank you to Liv from the Shrewsbury Coffee House for letting me come in and set up microphones downstairs. Now, look, I talk about this place an awful lot on the podcast. Thank you for letting us use the space. But you know what? I feel spoiled when I get to record there because, you got the busy outside streets. You got the, Castle Foregate going up to Castle Street. They got the busy train station, the road. And at the weekend, it was very, very hot. And you go into, Shrewsbury Coffee House and you go downstairs and it's just calm. It's just beautiful little nook of Shrewsbury. And I absolutely love it there. I love going to sit and drink coffee there. I like to go and record there. I've had meetings there, important meetings there. I take family there. It's a nice place to go. So thank you for letting us do that. And thank you to Sian for coming on the podcast. Also, before we get into the episode, thank you so much. We had so many kind messages about the last couple of podcasts that we've done. I feel like we've done some really good stuff lately. The Freya Rickman episode is getting a lot of positive remarks and comments. If you're not listening to that podcast, go back and listen to it. I think it's really, really good that we're getting these comments. Thank you so much for everybody that's listening to the podcast lately. But yeah, let's get into today's episode. I really love this one. I hope you enjoy it too. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sian from Duty Life, who is planning the Happier Festival. Enjoy. Hey guys, welcome to one of my favourite nooks in Shrewsbury. It's a great place to escape from the outside world and come and just hide and drink coffee. And that's Shrewsbury Coffee House. Thanks to Liv for letting me do this such short notice as well. It's a beautiful sunny Saturday, and the town is bustling. And I'm really excited to be here with Sian, who is organising the Happier Festival, right?
I am indeed. Hello.
Really excited to hear about this because you got in touch with me and things were a bit hectic at the time. I was kind of like, I just don't know where I'm going to fit you in, but things have moved around and I can get you on the podcast now. I'm really happy about it because I think what you're doing is really good, because I feel like while there is quite a bit about well-being and happiness and kind of promoting positivity, I feel like with the state of the world right now, not to get too political, but with the state of the world right now, I think we need more of it, right?
Absolutely. Just throw it at me. I think we all need to be smothered in something that's not negative for a change.
Exactly. And we'll get into that. We're going to absolutely just delve right into the festival and what it is, but I want to find out a bit about you first. I mean, I've looked at your Instagram. I've seen how you promote positivity and well-being. But first of all, are you Shrewsbury local, or where are you from originally?
So I grew up in Telford.
Okay, that's allowed. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
And then I moved to Shrewsbury 7 years ago now, just because there's a little bit more community here and it was easier for me to just go out and about, find clubs, make friends. And it's just always felt like home to me. I've got incredible friends and network in the town loop in particular, just again through coffee shop culture and chatting away to people and just finding connections that way. So Shrewsbury very much so feels like home.
Very similar. We came here in 2018.
2018, yeah. That was me.
It was like, I think we came in the August and very quickly it became just snow land. It was just snow everywhere. I remember that year, trying to get out. And we moved to to Bellevue and going over the Greyfriars Bridge, it looked like something from a Dickens novel.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it, Bellevue?
It was great, honestly. And, you know, you're right. The community here, I mean, Telford is great. They're doing amazing things. I've just been doing podcasts and looking at what's going on with the infrastructure and the way they're building things up there. It's very exciting. That place could be a city in a couple of years. Not even joking.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. It's just the scale of it is so much bigger. But I think sometimes that's why it can feel a bit more like overwhelming to find your little spot within it.
Yeah, I think before Southwater came, though, in Telford, it was kind of like very sporadic. You kind of had like your little villages almost that people sort of latched onto, and everybody was kind of separated. Whereas Shrewsbury, like you said, is this close-knit community, and it goes further than the Loop as well. It kind of like, there's a real pride here of the town, right?
I feel like everyone knows everyone as well. So if you need someone or something, everyone in a coffee shop will be like, oh, I know the guy, or I know who you need to speak to, and they'll just hook you up straight away, and it's brilliant. And I just feel like that openness to connect is really special here.
Especially when you create like a niche like well-being. I mean, I was looking on your Instagram and I noticed Alana, who's a friend of ours, Aaron, Highly Flammable Studios, big shout out to those guys. Worked with them in the past, wonderful people. And that's what I'm saying, like, I know you and I know them, and then from them, they may know Jimmy from Loop Fest, and Jimmy might know Nev Street, who's just doing the International Comedy Festival right now. Everybody kind of knows everybody, do you know what I mean? We didn't just record that on a microphone. You're okay. Oh, that's okay. So, yeah. We just carry on recording, right? I love the organic nature of this podcast. There's destruction everywhere.
Yeah. Feels good though, homely.
So when does well-being come in for you? Well, I mean, like, what is your role in this? What do you do with it? Is it your job? Are you a coach? I mean, what is it?
So I went on my own journey, as I think everyone does with well-being. I quickly became quite stressed and overwhelmed in working life, and I think just moving into adulthood is a tough gig, right? Everyone's got to do it, but I spent a lot of time feeling quite lost, quite isolated. I moved here in the hope of making more friends and connections, but I still just struggled with mental health. I ended up getting diagnosed with bipolar disorder when I was just 19 years old, which was a bit of a ride.
It's really good that you got that diagnosis quite early, though, because some people wait for that.
Honestly, I was so lucky. It was difficult and messy, and it was not a nice time looking back on, but I was very lucky to have the support of people that love me around me that could advocate, like you said, just to get that diagnosis. But even after diagnosis, it took about 3.5 years to get sort of settled again. And then at the same time, accidentally ended up with Crohn's disease as well. And those two things, whilst they don't define my experience, definitely pivoted me into the world of well-being, I think a little bit quicker or perhaps a bit more prematurely to a lot of other people of my age. But that being said, I actually think that because of the demands of the modern day world and because of our ultra connectedness online and just being constantly bombarded with information,
chasing dopamine, right?
Yeah, I think everyone's actually starting to look at well-being and their wellness and their happiness and their health a lot sooner in time. Like a lot of the audience that I support now,
I think it's a lot of the things that we take for granted. I mean, for this place, for example, right? And there's a few examples around Shrewsbury that are kind of like almost like TARDISes away from reality. I mean, I always talk about the Unitarian Church. I'm not a religious guy, but I've done bits there before with the podcast. Darwin's Church, that's where he went to, so there's a lot of history there. But you step in for that red door. It's next to Beefy Boys. There's a red door there. You step in there and you're in a completely calm, quiet world. And same as here. Outside right now, it's boiling hot. There's traffic running around. There's people back and to from work and stuff. You come in here, you can just switch off for a little bit.
Slower.
And it's a great metaphor for how well-being should be. You should be taking a break from the stresses in life, right?
Yeah, I think that it's finding balance. And I think when we think of balance, we think of, the moments in absolute stillness. But actually balance for me, or the way I express it, is like the whole negotiation of life. Like, how much of this sort of higher, faster-paced energy do I need right now? What am I enjoying getting creative with? And then how much am I craving and needing rest and space and slowness? And it's just like the difficult thing is that
especially with bipolar disorder. I mean, I worked in and around mental health for a few years. for about 8.5 years. I worked with care leavers, support worker. So I saw a lot of it. But I noticed the times when people were manic and needed that kind of like, I need to make something, I need to do something. And then it's kind of like, oh my God, what have I done?
Yeah.
Right? It was like that roller coaster. So it's just finding like, how can you appreciate yourself when you're, and show that gratitude to yourself when you're feeling super creative and super busy, and also when you're feeling low, right?
I think that as well, like, I don't actually often talk about those experiences very often. It's just sort of fallen out. Obviously, this feels...
do you know what I talk about? I've just been diagnosed with PTSD and childhood trauma, and that's all very new to me. I'm trying to navigate my life through all these kind of things. But I mean, it's a very safe space. I feel like we can talk about stuff like this now, though. Isn't that like the curtain's been moved away from this kind of talk now, isn't it?
I think as well, I don't know about you, but as I've continued to grow up and meet more people and just become a little bit more worldly, I guess, I think you realise no matter what, everyone's got something. And it might be slightly different, like a different flavour, but we've all got something, and everyone's working on something or living alongside something. And those experiences just quickly switched the light on for me. And I'm actually sort of grateful in a bizarre way that it was ultimately my body and my mind, I believe, telling me that, going at this continuous one pace, doing this and this and this, isn't actually serving me. It's not making me feel good.
Yeah, sure.
So it was like the great redirection. And then I was like, well, if I'm going to be as healthy as one can be, and if I want to move towards remission, say, for my conditions, I'm going to have to live a bit differently to how I had been living.
Adapt.
Yeah. And I think that, as I said, everyone's got something. And I think like you said, there's this conversation now, and we have opened the curtains, and it's like no matter what you're working with, I think more and more people are feeling called to, or empowered, let's say, to do something about it and to, make those gentle changes in life.
It's about keeping your ego in check as well. I think ego is a big part of things. We talk about ego as a dirty word, but I feel like you need that kind of self-confidence to drive yourself sometimes. And like, I believe in what I do with the biscuit, but there are times when I'm kind of like, no one wants to hear my stuff. Like, you got to have that self-belief. If I didn't have that kind of ego, that kind of strut that you kind of need to get through life, then this wouldn't exist. It wouldn't have gone for over 500 episodes. You know what I mean? Like, I've got to carry on. But it's about keeping it in check, isn't it?
I think that it's like, yeah, absolutely having the self-love or self-appreciation to go, do you know what, I'm worth the work it takes to create this amazing thing, if it's a creative passion, or to look after myself better if it's to do with your health and wellness, or I deserve to go and pursue happiness and find out what it looks like for me. You do need that. You sort of have to go, okay, I'm going to do it. And that does take a level of, I'm worth it. And, that's a bit of a journey to get there sometimes as well. But I do agree, you need a little bit of something between.
Yeah, you got to. And people that listen to my podcast that I have done for a while probably like, I've got an applause button here somewhere. They're probably going, yeah, because I've had imposter syndrome for years. Aaron Child, we mentioned him earlier. Like, me and him have had meetings where he's like, come do a seminar, teach people how to podcast. And we sat down, we priced it all up, and we were going to do this thing. I went home, I was like, no one's going to want to listen to me. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like actually I know what I'm talking about. Like, it's there, the proof is in the pudding. So maybe now I'm feeling a bit better. Maybe now's the time to start opening up and stuff.
Well, it's the eternal, it's another one of those balancing negotiations that always change. It's being in a relationship with that part of yourself that's limiting you, and then that part of yourself that's like, yeah, let's do it. And it's finding the right balance.
I think I love this. You're so positive. I love this. I need to get a little version of you follow me around going, go on, Alex, we can do this. Get up that hill.
We can do this. Absolutely.
I don't know how to pronounce. Is it Duty Life? Duty Life. Duty Life.
Yeah, well done.
Is that Welsh? Looks Welsh.
Yeah, so it was actually just a word I stumbled across years ago. I've always liked languages, and it's dut or dut in Welsh. And it's not slang, but it's sort of like a colloquial term that to some people means something that's like small or cute, or that makes you feel that's lovely. So you might describe, I don't know, your nine or your gran as dut, or
get into a warm bath.
Yeah, exactly. Anything that's just a bit lovely. So I don't know, sunset or a good coffee, all of these things.
That's duty.
Yeah. So Duty Life is obviously a play on that.
I love that.
Yeah, it's quite funny though because so many people can't pronounce it.
I know. I mean, I grew up in Wales, in Wrexham, and that looks Welsh to me. But then again, I was like, it's an acronym. It's a DWTY. But obviously,
well, do you know what's really funny and sweet? I do community events at DT Life. That's my business that focuses on wellbeing. And someone came up to me a few months ago at a workshop, and this woman was like, does it stand for do what thrills you? And I was like, it doesn't yet, but it should do now.
Where's my ding? We got t-shirt button. Whenever we make a t-shirt on the podcast, we ding.
I was like, do what thrills you? That's better than what I was thinking. That's brilliant.
That's awesome. I love that.
People keep interpreting it in different ways and just sharing it. And I'm like, wow, that's wonderful.
Who was I talking to? I was talking to Callie Beaton, was the last podcast we did, who's an amazing comedian. She's performing on Sunday for the comedy festival. Great guest. But she's got a book and a podcast called, I'm going to swear, I'll beep it out, but Namaste Mother. Right. And she's like, and she explained to me that it's about like finding that inner peace through the chaos, and kind of like that's kind of her representation. But I represented it as kicking the door through it into a chaotic room and going, Namaste, mother. Like, do you know what I mean? I love how we interpret things differently to sort of selfishly fit into our own little world.
It molds into your narrative.
Yeah.
I like it. It's free, it's expressive, it's loose, it's for people to own. It's not like, interpretation's a nice thing.
Making it your own, that's what art is all about.
Yeah.
So, Dirty Life, when did that start then for you?
So, after the few years of diagnoses and poor physical and mental health, I realised things needed to change and went on a bit of a journey, as I think most people do actually, just to go, do you know what's actually going to work for me in life? And it took me ages, and it was very difficult, to be honest, quite winding. There were dark periods where I didn't think, we'd see the light again. But I ended up finding this practice. I'd Googled, like, what on earth is going to make me feel like living, more or less. Or how can I feel okay? And you get to that desperate point where you're like, please, internet. And funnily enough, a YouTube video popped up in the search engine results, and it was called The Antidote to Dissatisfaction. And I watched it, and it's an animated video from a YouTube creator called Kyrgyzart, which in German means in a nutshell. And they do loads of incredible, actually, content. I'd recommend their page. But it was talking about how modern day life can leave you feeling quite dissatisfied because of the things we do and the way the world works a little bit. But the most powerful thing you can do when you're dissatisfied is to practice this thing called gratitude. And to be honest, it seemed so simple that I was almost insulted, because I was like, I've been really in the pits and things have been difficult, and are you telling me that just writing down things that I'm thankful for is going to change my life? But I was so desperate at the time that I just gave it a go. And this was just as sort of COVID was emerging and, life was changing for all of us again. And I committed to it. And it did what it said on the tin. And I was like, wow, whoopsie. I did it out of desperation. And then, 6 to 9 months later, my life was completely transforming. Like, my career had changed. My health was improving. My relationship with my partner was improving. And that had been very rocky through what we'd been going through with my...
As you can expect, I mean, these things do kind of...
take a toll on everything and everyone.
We're watching The Bear at the moment. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah.
If you've seen The Bear and you know the fishes, that episode, it's basically a Christmas episode where the family's getting ready for Christmas and they're getting the dinner ready, and you've got all the family arguing and shouting, and they're at the dinner table, and there's this massive, like... That's one of the highest rated episodes of anything in the history of TV, right?
Is it really?
It is.
I've watched that. It's very powerful.
It's. I think it's because people look at that and they either go, "Oh my God, that's crazy," or they go, "I've got family just like it." Yeah, right. And with relationships, when it comes to mental health, there is that kind of imbalance to balance moment where you're kind of like, "Oh my God, this is scary. I don't know how to deal with this. Oh, we've got treatment. Oh, we're going for therapy. I'm finding ways to deal with this. Oh, this is great."
Yeah,
there is that transition.
Yeah.
And it's normal.
Yeah, it's just the journey.
Yeah.
And I think, again, not to go over the same point over and over, but I think it's really important to state, I think everyone goes on this journey at one point or another. And the funny thing now, with a bit of hindsight and a few years' experience on my back, I'm like, it's actually one of the bizarre privileges of growing up and... evolving and changing through life. I actually look back, and as difficult and terrible as sometimes were, it's sort of the becoming of you. And I just love, like, now I'm almost like obsessed with just changing and learning.
Does that teach you to look at things that were like you probably thought was negative? Oh my God, I got a bipolar. Oh my God, this. But then going, I'm grateful for this. It makes me who I am. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a complicated relationship.
I imagine.
Yeah, I'm sure you relate with.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of like, oh my God, stop shouting at me. I need to run away.
Yeah.
Whereas before I was kind of like, yeah. It changes you.
Yeah, so it's like just it's being okay with it and not like, for me personally, not needing to attach positive or negative to it. It just is.
It is.
And I'm learning to live alongside it. And
a big friend of my other podcast, Kat Merrick, does Breathe Dance Yoga. She's amazing.
Oh, I love Kat.
We interviewed just on that table over there last time. That's the last time I interviewed here, actually. And she's awesome. And she's been on the podcast many times. And she blew my mind a little bit because she was talking about journaling and about writing down your feelings. And I think that's popular for a lot of people. And I can't get on board with sitting and writing a journal. I tried meditation. It worked for a little bit, especially during the pandemic. Love the cold showers. Love the Wim Hof thing. I don't do that. I've got an upstairs apartment. I can't get an ice bath up there, but a cold shower is what I've got, right? But Kat was like, this is your journaling. This is my meditation as well. She's like, when I'm doing this, like, you've just seen a complete transformation from me. I kind of like, I went, you're right, how's it going? You're right. And then I sit down behind a microphone and I go, right? This is me in my bubble. This is me at my best. And this is what I love to do. This is my meditation. This is my journaling.
Well, we talk about flow state a lot. Have you chatted about flow state?
Do you know, I've heard about this.
So it's just basically when a couple of elements of you are all at this sort of special equilibrium where you feel challenged but also feeling quite creatively charged, and it's sort of bringing out the best of you and also giving you something to stew on, and we enter this thing called flow state, and it's sort of what you get when you get lost in something. So for some people that's, I don't know, cycling, and other people it's painting, and other people it's music, and you can just drop into it, and it is almost like that meditative state that Kat's talking about, where it doesn't really matter what it is, but because you've found that sort of special equilibrium where a couple of the components of you are just sort of chilling out in this special space, you just get lost in it, and it stops the thoughts from being, popping up as much because you're so sort of fixated on what you're at right now.
Nothing else exists. And I guess there are good ways and not so good ways of dealing with it. I mean, video games for me, I feel like it almost depends what you're playing. If that's your way of switching off, I love to play a bit of card with my wife at the end of the evening. That's what we like to do. I'm very lucky that I've got a wife that loves to play that with me. But like, that's my way of switching off. But if I'm having a few bad games, maybe that's too stressful. Whereas if I'm like building a city on like City Skyline or something relaxing like that, that's me in a very peaceful place. I'm being creative in a waste of time kind of way, but it's kind of switching off. The stresses of life don't exist outside that bubble. This is me doing that same thing, but actually making something. And I feel like I'm grateful for myself to be able to do this. And that is
creativity is one of the principles of human enjoyment, and joy counts, and it's something that contributes actively, regularly to your health and your contentment. So find. Yeah.
I'm going to give you a t-shirt for that. That's great. It's a long one, but it works, right?
Yeah, it's waffly. I'm waffly.
You can have it in the naughty style font all over your t. You know what I mean? All jumbled up. But then what happens is you meet people similar to you, right? You create this environment around yourself, and then you meet someone who goes, I do something similar to that, and then I do something similar to that, and before you know it, you've got a group of people that are on your level, right? Is that what's happened with you naturally? Yeah,
so the gratitude was the first sort of practice out of 3 that I've eventually found. That started to create and shifts and changes, and I didn't know it at the time, but I now pen it to that practice. Life just started to change. I started attracting different things or different people, made new friends, got a bit more confident, I guess, and like you said earlier about that ego, like I started to have a bit more self-belief and a bit about me, and I was like, I do deserve nice things, or I'm going to pursue my interests. And because of that shift of mentality with gratitude, and because I was feeling so much more sort of stable and in control and a bit happier, I then sort of stumbled across yoga. I was trying out lots of different things to try and find friends and interests, and yoga is the second thing that sort of transformed my life. I always say that gratitude saved my life, and then yoga changed the way I perceived life.
Sort of enhanced your life.
Yeah, and it was while I was doing eventually my yoga training, I went away because I loved it so much, I wanted to go deeper, that I had this idea I had the confidence then, because of these communities I'd met through yoga, to actually share some of the gratitude as well. So while I was away on my teacher training, I went to Aaron and Alana at Highly Flammable, and I was like,
another shout out for those guys.
Get them in there. I was like, guys, I kind of want to do a thing. I don't know what it is yet, but can I do it at your studio? And I created my first workshop, which is called The Life-Changing Art of Gratitude. And this was a few years after I'd started my personal practice. And I just basically shared with a room of people, half my friends and family and a couple of incredible people that just took the risk and came along. What gratitude is, how to practice it, how it can look differently for all of us, but why it changes your life. And that was the birthplace of Duty Life, I guess, as we know it. I didn't know I was doing it at the time, but I just really felt called to share it. And that's how I met the people that then kick-started everything. And it just went from there. But the community started on that day. It was in October 3 years ago.
This is what I love about Shrewsbury. There's such a collaborative nature when it comes to businesses. I mean, we're friends with SWIB, Shropshire Women in Business. It's run by Camilla Monk. Vic's my co-host. She went along. She's joined SWIB. And the moment she joined it, we're getting now messages off business owners want to work with the podcast. And it's like, there's this almost like an arm around the shoulder, not just with SWIB, but with like people like Aaron and people that work around. Alex McCarthy's a great example as well. She was doing amazing stuff in Shrewsbury. There's loads of great stuff happening, and it's almost organic, like you said. You went to Aaron and Alana.
People just lift each other up.
They do, and
it's the most incredible. Like, I would not have established the business I have over the last few years without those initial sort of, I guess they invested in me, emotionally, and they gave me so much confidence in just my ideas that it gave me the courage to go for it. And
I like this.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
It's really nice to be able to get that swagger. You need it. I think you need it. I think that's one thing I've got to learn is that, like Liv, the owner of this coffee shop, I messaged her last night because we organised this very last minute, and I was kind of like, yo, Liv, can I come to your coffee shop and record a podcast? And she's like, Alex, you don't need to do that. Just turn up. And I was like, I don't want to walk in through the door, but like, I'm the biscuit guy. Give me a table. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not, but maybe I should. I don't know. Like,
well, I think that the other nice part or the nature of the community here is that people do just lift you up. And I don't know, 9.5 times out of 10, it's always a yes, no matter what your sort of people are like, yeah, we'll just make this work. We'll figure out a way. I've got, I don't have a premises of my own for Duty Life, but I've used like friends that have coffee shops, other things, for instance. I'm just like, yeah, come and use this. Come and be a part of it.
Literally just written a LinkedIn. I'm using LinkedIn now. I didn't use LinkedIn for ages.
How's it going?
All right, I feel like people are getting in touch with me and stuff. Like, I've literally just written a post about how over the years, I've been doing this since 2018, and I've been using the amazing studio they've got in Shropshire Business Suite, and of course Highly Flammable, got a great podcast as well, studio as well. There are places you can go and have that refined sound, but over the years I've been turning up with handhelds at festivals. I've been standing on car parks whilst the Sabrina boat's been lifted out the water, making use of the coffee shops. I've been in the courtyard in Attingham Park. I've been in Attingham Park. I've been doing all these places all around Ludlow Castle. I've learned to adapt to this environment wherever it is, and that creates minimum overheads. I don't have an office I have to pay for. Do you know what I mean? So if I was going to do this, that's exactly how the biscuit's got to be. I've got to be an almost nomad.
Yeah. And I think that fluidity helps when you're so creative, because when you've got all these different ideas, you've got that freedom to pivot and try things and listen to how your community responds to it. And that's definitely, again, with the support of the network here in town and beyond, people are like, yeah, just come and trial it in this space, or why have you thought about meeting up with this person and doing it that way? And it becomes infectious, that energy, and that is definitely what then took that one workshop and gave me the sort of bit about me to go, I'm gonna going to grow this, or I'm going to go and try 5 avenues and see which ones stick. And
I know I wrote workshopping in Shrewsbury because we organically came across it because I know it's a big culture here. There's a lot of workshopping that goes on, but like we've just discussed, that then leads on to other ideas. Other people might have any ideas for you and stuff like that. And, you know, with the Happier Festival, I noticed you're working with so many similar people to yourself, and that's possibly come from that networking, right? And that
absolutely would not have had the, I guess, complete naivety and crazy nature.
I love that laugh. Like,
yeah, it's crazy. I'm feeling crazy. I would not have had the confidence to immediately act on this big idea without, I don't think, the network of support and friends I have around me for the last few years. The final thing that I found through Duty Life, or through my own journey first, I should say, after the gratitude and the yoga, was what I've sort of called joyful living, or, you know, centering life around enjoyment. And it's important to note that joy isn't like the same as fun, and it isn't also the same as happy. Joy is just something that you can tap into, and there are certain things like creativity, for instance, that all people have a bit of a profile in or enjoy to a level that actually contributes to your health and happiness. And there are several different elements or aspects to, you know, human joy, and we've all got a different relationship with each of these things, but in general it's a bit of a roadmap. And after sharing that through workshops as well, you know, there are some parts or aspects of joy that really sing to me, and then there are some bits that don't. I've then been able to collaborate. So Hope and Becky at Hopefully Made, for instance, have you met those girls before? They're another, you know, foundation Duty Life supporter. They are so much more sort of outwardly creative and artistic. So I now collaborate workshops with them. So I share the, you know, emotional well-being, the journaling that's focused around joy and actually enjoying your life more. And then they get to do a whole segment on the creativity stuff, because that's where they shine. And, you know, when you start understanding all these different components, then it just create a need or an opportunity to collaborate even further. And creating with these other creatives, I guess, in Shrewsbury, and offering exciting different things for communities is like the biggest privilege of the job. I just absolutely love. Especially, I guess, when, I don't know, somebody's repressing their opportunities or their license to have a bit of joy. Maybe, I don't know, whether it's through clinical depression or whether it's through the fact that they focus too much on their work, or there's so much going on in their family life where it's kind of like, I don't deserve to have happiness, or I don't deserve to have joy. I mean, I see a lot of these posts with women complaining about guys on their PlayStation, and you see these posts about guys complaining about their women going out and partying and stuff. I feel like, well, where's the balance? I mean, guys need to do this, and women need to do it. Everybody needs to find their own version of joy, right? Yeah, I think there's a deep misunderstanding on what joy is, and happiness, but we can get to that later. Yeah. Happy's a bit of a topic, but joy is different to fun. So fun is perhaps some of the things that you just described, and it's great by the way, go and have fun in your life. It's great, do it. But fun typically is where you aren't as present, so you go out and it's escapism and it's great and you have an amazing time. Joy is a little bit different because you are still present when you're enjoying. So some of the principles of joy, for instance, are creativity. You're quite present when you're creating. Movement. So for some people, like I know some people just love the gym and they get their, you know, their dopamine and their endorphins there. And I'm like, wow, great for you. Other things are like time in nature or practicing kindness. These are sort of things that we do and we're very present while we're taking part in them. And so I always say to people, like, have fun. Fun's incredible. Like, I love it. We all love it. But I think our world and our society fixates on that more than it does joy. And actually that balance that you're looking for is people balancing out the fun with joy, where they're actually present in what they're doing as well. And I think because it's so misunderstood, like people are like, well, I'm doing all these fun things. Why don't I feel good after it? Why does the fun never last? And it's because actually, as amazing as it was just a one-off little, you went out, did something and then came back. Whereas joy actively sort of interacts with you as you are right now without needing to run away or change anything. And it's a bit more longer lasting as well. So there is a little bit of
So it helps recharge your batteries, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. It is foundational for your well-being, but also for your health. Like, it contributes to sleep, mood, immunity, all these incredible things. It's essential.
My son's he's a 10-year-old theatre geek. He loves theatre, right? He was just at musical theatre classes last night, and like when we go pick him up at the end, they perform for us what they've been learning that day, and seeing the genuine joy on his face. Like you said, he's present. He's thinking about his steps. He's singing this amazing solo in this. He's really good. But that, I guess, that's the difference. Doing that, being present in that, and enjoying it rather than maybe going and watching a theatre show, you know, kind of
I mean, there's space for both, but absolutely, you're expressing your son's joy, and joy is incredible for your self-development, your self-appreciation, good feelings.
The metaphor I use for this, and I say it all the time because it is so true, it's so me. It's like, you know, you imagine Tony Stark in his garage, AC/DC on in the background, and he's making his machines. That's me when I'm making podcasts, when I'm editing podcasts, when I'm making the media. I'm like, oh, this can go over here and this can go here. This sounds really good, and you know, that's me in the studio. And before I know it, 3 hours have gone, and I'm like, oh, I made something, and I got something out of it, you know.
That's definitely you in your flow state, enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
I think another way you can express it is like consumption versus creation. So oftentimes you're doing something when you're enjoying yourself, whether that's moving or being kind to strangers or experiencing things, or that's sort of like you either creating literally something or an experience or a relationship, whereas fun tends to be more consumption based. So that's us going and like just being subject to something, which is great.
It's almost like a chemically induced joy.
yeah. And there's absolutely, like, have fun, but also start thinking about your joy as well, because
what actually gives you joy?
Yeah, because if you're, you know, we're all very good, I think, at knowing what's fun for us, but sometimes, you know, you get into bed at night and you're like, oh, I don't feel as good as I felt 2 hours ago when I was doing that. And that's a calling then to start thinking about sprinkling joy in. And
I think that's what people can feel when someone creates a passion project, right? Because there's all that gone into it, all that love and attention. I mean, one of my favourite music artists at the moment is Ren. I don't know if you've ever heard of Ren. I always mention him. He has a great song called Hi Ren. And it's about him having a conversation with his ego.
I have watched this. Is this the long form video?
Yeah, we've got the guitar.
I have seen this.
It's one of the most amazing things. I mean, I love Ren in the whole, but I think that in itself is a piece of art. It needs to be hung on a wall. And it was just played on Joe Rogan yesterday. Like, there's people talking about this all over the world. It's a couple of years old, this video is. Do you know what I mean? But it's doing the rounds now because it's a great physical representation on having that conversation with yourself. I think you need to do that now and again. You need to check in with you, like, hey mate, like, you need to calm down a bit, or you know, I need to appreciate the finer things in life. Stop bullying myself. Stop, but you know what I mean? You need to have those conversations with yourself. It's really important.
I have seen that video. My friend showed it to me, probably only in the last 6 months, actually.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It is
really
powerful.
Is. I let my son listen to. I've been listening to Wu-Tang with my son since this is a thing. I feel like when music is made, it needs to be listened to as it was made. Right? I know not to play music that's got like sex and this, that, and the other in to my young child, but when it comes to Wu-Tang's for children, and same with Ren. He's singing about mental health and really important things, so I'm going to let him listen to that. So you talk about, do you say there was 3 things? So there was yoga, gratitude and
joyful living,
joyful living,
prioritizing your joy.
And these 3 things are like a foundation for you.
That's my secret sauce.
You see?
Not so secret sauce.
Not so secret sauce.
I didn't realize, but after like the combination of focusing on those 3 things for a number of years, I went from not wanting to be here to so happy that I just drive down the road sometimes and just start crying because life's so beautiful and almost obnoxiously content.
I love that.
And that journey was such an unbelievable shift, and it had, you know, it's been many years in the making, but those 3 things were each catalysts for big shifts energetically and emotionally and physically as well in my physical health. So I realized that also it took me a long time to find these things, and I tried a lot of things that didn't work first, so I just wanted to share them. And after doing that first workshop on gratitude and then finishing my yoga teacher training, I decided that I wanted to share for a living. So
I'm going to take some photos. I always forget to mention to people, I'm going to take photos while we're doing a podcast. So then when I want to pick up my phone and aim at people, they go, like they stop talking. Just carry on. Don't pay attention to the camera that I'm talking about loudly on a microphone.
So yeah, it was those three things. And the first workshop, I was like, wow, I like engaging with people. So Duty Life was born, and I sort of built it on those three pillars: gratitude, yoga and joyful living. And I share each of them either in workshops or classes, or like one-to-ones as well, like I support people on an individual basis. And I don't profess or proclaim to know lots or even a little, but the few things that I have found I know work, and they worked so profoundly for me. And before I did Duty Life, I did work in mental health services as well. I was able to share these things with people on a similar trajectory to what I was, and it resonated with them. And then after, I don't know, about the first 12 months of Duty Life, we'd had over 150 people through the door. And one, their retention for like workshops and classes was unbelievably high. People just didn't want to leave once they joined us. And two, the feedback from all these different kinds of people with very different walks of life was so incredibly overwhelmingly positive. And they were like, do you know what? I took this and this out of that workshop, and it's changed this. Or, oh, my life's just coincidentally changed over the last 12 months, and now I've got this and this in it. And I...
Thank you, Sian. You know what I mean?
It's nothing... It's nothing magical. These are really simple practices. They're really easy to execute, actually. But I just, it's just having a space where you can talk about these things.
And you've got to want to make those changes, I suppose. You've got to be in the right state of mind.
Yeah, you have to be ready.
And my wife's on a diet at the moment. She's doing a really amazing job. I think I'm definitely really proud of it. But I'm not quite there yet. I've just got through therapy. I'm kind of like just sort of managing through life. I'm kind of like, oh, this is nice. This is nice over here. I'm enjoying this. I think I'm throwing a diet into the mix right now. I'll just be like, knock me off balance. Yeah. I'll be like, oh my God, there's too much going on. Yeah, it'll come. And yoga is one of the things I wanted to sort of, I've been saying this for years, but it's genuinely something I've always wanted to do, but I'm a bit of a pudding. So like, I feel like it's something that I need to I would have to gently sort of introduce into my life. But I think yoga will be really good for me. The breathing thing works for me so well. That's one of the EMDR therapy that I do is all about breathing and finding my comfortable space, right? Breathing's always been important to me. That's what the cold showers are all about, the kind of that resurgence of energy you need after a hot night in bed trying to sleep, whatever. I don't know, but like I feel like those moments for me are really important. So if I can put that all into one little thing as yoga. Yeah,
well, yoga I started out of recommendation. I'd had a really large open emergency surgery as part of my Crohn's, which was a bit of a shocker. And I had to, get used to sitting up and walking again. I'd lost several stone. I was very unwell, and it was actually clinicians that were like, oh, have you thought about doing some yoga? Because yoga is a really good way to get back acquainted or reacquainted with your new body. So I went to it thinking it was an entirely physical practice, and I started by going to this incredible class in Shrewsbury called Gentle Yoga Flow, and it was on a Friday morning, and it was the highlight of my bloody week. And I did, when I started, think it was entirely about the poses and the shapes. What happened was, at the end of the class, you do a pose which is called Shavasana, and that's basically just lying down. And I ended up just falling asleep every single class. And I was like, why am I so relaxed at 11 o'clock in the morning? Like, I've just slept for several hours. And it was that feeling that kept me going back. It was almost addictive. I was like, I've never felt that relaxed in my whole life. Like, I've always been quite chaotic. And then I started, because it was so good, I gave myself permission to, I guess, go on a couple of yoga retreats to see what else there was. And it was when I started exploring more that I learned that yoga is not just the poses. The poses are actually 1 out of 8 parts of the yogic path. And breath work and the control of your energy through breath is another just as equally important part as the poses, and as is meditation. And then there's also lifestyle practices and philosophies as well, and all these things started culminating together, and I was like, this stuff's genius. And the poses, I still loved them, but they quickly became the least interesting or the least important part for me. The physical practice of yoga became an opportunity to go from a really busy, overwhelmed mind to a really relaxed one in a short amount of time. But it was all the other stuff that truly changed my life, blew the door off its hinges. And so I'd just recommend, I know that the perception of yoga, especially in a place like this, is that, it's for thin, flexible people with expensive leggings. But that couldn't be further from the truth. And
that was great.
I would just, I'm lucky to be surrounded by different kinds of representation in yoga, particularly online. That is the one thing about being in a county like this. We're still waiting for more diversity to arrive here, and I think we need to create. It's our obligation to
create space.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. Ding.
There we go. Create a space. Double.
So I would just encourage you and anyone to find a space where it feels okay to give it a go, because you don't need to have anything or be anything in particular to start. And I can't stop talking about it. Sorry, it changed my life.
No, it's your passion. I love that. And if people are looking at breathing, muscle breathing, it's introduced in the army. They do it in the army. It's is it the 6-4 method when you breathe out for 6, in for 4? It kind of it just stops you from taking in oxygen and calms you down, relaxes you in crisis situations. The 6-4. I think it's the 6-4 method. I could have got it wrong, but it's something. So it's in everyday life is breathing and just kind of recentering yourself. Because if you're hyperventilating, you're panicking, you're kind of winding yourself up. You need to slow down.
It all ties into your nervous system. Yeah. It's like the quickest way to regulate your own nervous system, and you can elevate it into sympathetic, which is where you're quick to respond and you're which is sometimes very necessary. But you can also then drop into parasympathetic, which is typically where you self-soothe, where your body gives itself all the chemicals and permissions it needs to repair. So, having an awareness of those two states, those bodily states, and being able to gently guide yourself into each of them is a super tool. It couldn't be more useful.
Certainly helping me. I mean, with my PTSD, I find that I either have a severe fight or flight. So, if someone's in my grill, I'm either going to tell them to F themselves and be like, stand up for myself. I'm not an aggressive person, but if someone's being rude to me or something, I'll probably tell them, hey, don't do that. Or I'm going to run away. And then when I run away, that'll affect me for days. Do you know what I mean? It'll be a weight on my shoulder. So learning to breathe has actually helped me deal with that. I can sort of deal with the situation and relax.
Yeah, it gives you space.
It does, yeah.
We don't have a lot of space. It's like a precious commodity nowadays because we're bombarded with life commitments, packed schedules, advertisements, noise. So it's like breath.
TikTok,
gives you space.
Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
Facebook, responding to messages from. Yeah,
you can change your entire experience of the present moment by just taking 3 minutes to breathe differently.
My schedule's insane, but I actually schedule in rest days. They're blue on my calendar. Forced rest days. These are my days to sit around in my underwear in my apartment and do nothing.
Yeah.
And these are those days where I actually absolutely cherish because very important to have those days.
Unbelievably good. I need to do that.
So, Happier Festival.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Now we're there. When did this come as an idea for you?
Only a few months ago.
Oh, wow, really?
It was sort of, I don't know, February time, I think. I sat down with a couple of friends that I collaborate and co-work with, which, by the way, if you work for yourself, you should absolutely do, because just, again...
Good to bounce ideas off people,
right? Yeah, and it's great for your mental health as well. If you're a work-from-home person, see if there's someone else that you can work from home alongside, because sometimes that just bit of company is really good.
Yeah.
But I was sat working with 2 people, Laurie and Charlotte, and I was like, guys, I've just had this idea. And I'd had a bit of a crazy year in 2024 with growth and changing duty life and stuff. And they were like, are you sure? It sounds quite big. But I'd recently listened to a podcast. And one of the things that really stuck with me in that podcast was someone said, basically, when you have a creative idea, honour it with action immediately, because that is your heart, your gut, your intuition, whatever you want to call it, speaking, your innermost self, before your head, which is the logical reasoning or sometimes imposter,
shuts it down.
Yeah. So it was basically this big crazy idea that did feel really scary, but it felt really right. And I was like, oh, I really want to do it. And, if I was an 8-year-old, I'd just go and do it. So why shouldn't I? And I'd
listening to the inner child, I love that.
Yeah, I'd consciously taken in that wisdom from the podcast, don't let your mind convince you out of it. So I basically just went, oh, sod it, I'm going to do it. And I said it out loud to these people because that sort of made it more real and created more accountability straight away. I was like, guys, I want to do it. And they were like, what, really? And I was like, yeah, let's do it.
And nobody went, are you out of your effing mind?
There was my friend Laurie supported me a lot with my work last year, and she was like, I thought we weren't going to do anything new this year. We're just going to get better at everything we always do. And I was like, yeah, I know, I'm so sorry. But I really believed in it, and it felt really scary. For reference, the community events I run for Duty Life, maximum are sort of 20 people, and they're a few hours, and they're in a space that I don't have to create. You know, we go to a beautiful coffee shop or a studio. Happier is like 25 times the size of that, and basically the idea was I'd really felt the benefit of the community here in Shrewsbury, which we've talked about a lot, and all the other businesses that have similar whys or purpose to mine. Like ultimately there are so many businesses that want to just make you feel happier and healthier. All of us have a different way or a different how, like, of sharing it. But the important thing with health and happiness is it's as individual as we are. So what works for me and my community doesn't work for everyone. Sometimes people come to Duty Life and they liked the idea of it, but it just didn't click. And I spend 10 minutes talking to them at the end, and I'm like, oh, that's because you need Alana, because she delivers it differently, or that's her sparkle is different to my sparkle, and we have a different way of getting there, and that sounds like it suits you. And that community, I was like, we should come together. Shrewsbury and Shropshire in general was so lucky with so many independents, creatives, so many businesses that are flourishing. I think the wellness scene here is flourishing also. And I wanted just to bring everyone together so we can direct people to each other and share our communities, also share support business to business. And then that way we've got something here as well, because there's, you know, beautiful festivals and events all over the country now for like health wellness, but nothing's here. So you can go and have a great day out, you can have fun, but then you can't put into practice all of those things.
I saw the Wellbeing Festival last year, and that shocked me a little bit. It was at the Shrewsbury football ground, really cool. And I turned up and I like the organizer, she's ace, but like I was expecting like 5 stalls, people wearing tie-dye, somebody badly playing a guitar, and you know, the smell of lavender. That's what I expected. I think that's what everybody expected. Nice. But I was blown away. There was like 2 floors full of people with not just like mental health stuff, but holistic healing and artistic, ways of I don't know. It was just full of amazing people that, like you said, are passionate about well-being and sort of helping people. And I something like in my mind, I was kind of like, this is bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And you probably thought that too when you started putting this together, right?
Well, it's easy for me to see that all these different communities or artists or leaders or coaches or whatever they are, I can see that they're outwardly helping to transform a space, an environment and a community. But bringing them together, I mean, I really believed in the idea, but reaching out to them all was kind of scary because I've got no social proof, I've never done it before, got no evidence that it's going to work, but I just really believed in the idea, and I just had to put my big girl pants on and be brave enough to send out some emails and be like, I love what you do, and I think actually when you boil it down, what we care about is really similar. And I'd love to share this new experience with you if you'll take the risk on us, basically. But I really believe in the idea, and I think it's really needed, and especially here, because if we have, you know, these special, you know, it's going to be a beautiful, fun, great day out. I guarantee you're going to have the best time. But then also at the end of it, you'll have met new friends or new people to go to these clubs and experiences with that promote, you know, well-being perhaps. You'll have learnt things that resonate with you that you can then prioritise in your life, and it's all on your doorstep. So it removes more of the obstacles, because so many of us have so many obstacles to these things that are going to be good for us or make us feel good. So I just wanted to create an environment where we remove as much of that as possible. We make it completely accessible. We find the people you need for you. We find you friends to go and do these things with, because sometimes, you know, like in my journey, all my friends were still busy down the pub having a great time when I was, you know, changing direction sort of thing. I still love going to the pub, by the way, and having a nice time with them. But
who doesn't? Especially the beer garden weather like we got.
Yeah, I know. But it was like I needed a community that cared about those things as well, because then it made it easier for me to prioritise it.
Yeah.
So that's what we wanted to create with Happier.
And how difficult is, or how easy is it to curate the people that attend these, like the stall holders and things? Because there are lots of people out there, but there's also lots of faff out there. Do you know what I mean? You got to find out what's right for you. Right?
Yeah. So there was a vision. The group and the community that we've built, like exhibitor-wise, or the people coming along to connect to you, that was intentional, and that, you know, but most people, we sort of reached out to our dream people straight away. I say we. There's me and a few of my really good friends who are volunteering. They're called the Happy Helpers.
The Happy...
It would not exist without them. They're amazing.
Happy Helpers.
Yeah, Happy Helpers.
Happy to help.
We basically just created a list of everyone that we really believe in, everyone that shares what Duty Life is about in our community. And amazingly, I think only 3 people out of the whole outreach said no, and
that's amazing.
Yeah, so it was just like
those yeses feel all right, don't you? How many out of all the? Because I remember we did Pod Aid, did it 2 years in a row. I had to delete the second one for reasons I'll explain to you after the podcast. But I do want to do something again. I had this idea of like, because I want to lose weight, and I want this next year. I want to transform myself. I keep saying this, but I feel like I'm getting there. Now's the right time. Now I'm good in my head. But carrying a studio on my back and climbing to the top of peaks around Shropshire and meeting a different person every one to do an interview, and we can do it over 24 hours.
Sounds beautiful.
You know, that'd be great for well-being, great for podcasts, and great for my health. Not good for my back, but like I can't remember where I was going with this now. But I feel like there was always like ideas out there. There's always something there, and you know what you're saying about reacting straight away to ideas. Just before you came here, I sat on my laptop. I have this idea, which I'll tell you again afterwards. But one of our great partners from a few years ago is Hickory's. I wrote to them. We covered Super Bowl events. We used to cover their new menus, and we used to interview. And we used to get on. We used to do so much together. And I was like, oh, these are great people to speak to. Sat there and emailed straight away. I didn't even speak to Vix, my co-host. I just I wrote the email out, CC'd her in it, and I was like, this.
Yeah, I'm acting.
So sorry, Vix. That's where that came from. It was just like, I have this idea, I need to write it now. So that's what I did. That feels good.
It does, and I think it removes the fear. Actually, like, mind just produces fear. It's just what she's made to do. You've got to forgive her for it. But actually taking that action can feel really scary or fearful. But once you've done it a few times, you're like, oh, bloody hell, the worst anyone can ever say is no thanks. And that's it. And it becomes, the more you do it as well, the more you just act, the more you realise nobody's watching how calculated your steps are, and nobody really cares. Like, you're free in your life just to have a go. And it doesn't have to work out.
Get a ding.
Whatever, just have a go.
The point I was going with that as well, that was brilliant, by the way, was that when we were doing Pod Aid, I would sit there for hours just emailing people that I would love on guests. And like, I'd write loads, and it'd be ridiculous people as well. Like, some people, Kevin Smith, do you want to come on my podcast? You want to pioneer the podcast, like he's going to come on. We had Eddie Pence, which works with Ralph Garman, which works with. We had a few good calls, but those yeses, like when you get hundreds of no's, or just the no replies are the worst than the no's, because you're kind of like, oh, you could have just said, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the yeses, oh god, it's euphoric, right?
And I think, you know, you should shoot for the stars. Why not?
Absolutely.
That's all anybody else.
Shameless selfie. Sorry.
You crack on.
Oh no!
It's the age of the sun.
I've got a countdown timer on it as well, so it made it look even worse.
Oh no!
So Wellbeing, it's at the Flax Mill.
Yeah, so Happier Festival is at the Flax Mill. It's only a few weeks away now.
I said Wellbeing. I'm really sorry. I'll take that out. Happier Festival.
It is all about well-being.
It is all. But I'm not, actually no. We'll come back to that. There is the Wellbeing Festival. You've called this the Happier Festival. Happier Festival, and I love that, because even though it is about well-being, it's not labelling it as such. So it's all about positivity. I'm not here to fix you. Yeah, that's what... To be honest. Like, I hope that our community that we'll share with you and we want you to be a part of will give you different tools, but also just friends that can sit in the mud with you, you know? And I think happier as well. I won't be able to make you happy, but I can offer you ideas or some tools, friends, communities, tools
that might just get you a little bit happier. So that was it was very intentional again. Yeah,
I love that.
I think that especially when living with conditions, the trying to understand your relationship to them and blah blah blah, it made me realise that in this society that we're in, we tend to be so obsessive with pathologising and diagnosing and labelling, and they're really helpful, and for some people that changes their lives, so it's great. But also I think we take a really prescriptive approach to health, wellness and happiness as well, and actually the more pressure I alleviated off myself and the less I expected and just had a go at things and flowed, the easier, more relaxed and more joyful the process became. It stopped feeling like work to get happier or to get healthier. And I think if we can manage that, like person to person, that just,
I think anything you can do to promote, I say well-being, but, empathy, compassion, gratitude, joy, anything you can do to promote that in this world where there seems to be this, it's just apathy. It just seems to be like there's people just not caring at the moment. I mean, we know where it's coming from, and it's just overspilling. There's I think I saw on social media, it was a bonfire with a boat with effigies of black people, and it said "Stop the boats." And I was like, that is the worst thing you could possibly do. Like, that is just creating hate, and and then there's all these comments of people arguing about stuff like that. We need to get away from that.
Yeah.
We need to start looking at the happier things in life.
Well, that's as well. Collaborating. We've collaborated with 48 Shropshire, Shrewsbury-based businesses this year for Happier, because diversity and difference are strength, and empathy and awareness. And the more diverse that can be and the approach can be, the more tolerance and curiosity there is instead of judgment.
Oh, I love curiosity.
And curiosity over judgment always. Who we are at our innermost self, I really believe, is just calm, curious, kind, all of those nice things. We are that. So sometimes, whether it's ego or mind or societal, things coming upon you.
Acceptance.
Yeah, that all shifts it. But a happy person is a person that can choose curiosity. A happier person is someone that can, look at things with empathy and try and, take that judgment out of it. So creating diversity as well in our approach through Happier, we hope creates and fosters an environment where people can be softer and fluid and different. And even if I don't get it, I'm happy for you. That was also the idea. We have people coming to Happier that we believe wholeheartedly in the same things. I don't get their approach, they don't get mine, but I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Have your own space to do what you need to do. Yeah,
and actually I uplift and support you, you uplift and support me, and ultimately that just mimics the variety of life and of people. We're all very unique and very different, and the more of that we can have, the easier it is to drown out the hatred, because that just comes from fear and unknown.
Yeah, and I feel like we go looking for that, don't we? I do. I definitely go looking for that. If I see that picture I was talking about, I went straight in the comments. I was like, "Oh,
addictive."
And I need to start. And I have made a conscious effort to stop doing that. If I see, there's Facebook, I've included an X button in the top right-hand corner now of any posts you don't want to see. Use that button, because what it does is it tells the algorithm you don't want to see that stuff.
You're not interested.
I'm not interested, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm kind of like, no. Happier Festival. Who are you excited to tell us about? Is there anybody that come in that you really want to tell people about?
Oh, everyone. I reckon I could name 80% of them off the top of my head. We've created a space across the Flaxman Malting site in Shrewsbury. It's about half a mile from the train station. You can walk, cycle, drive. And it's very spacious and different. It's
huge space.
It's industrial chic. It is a bit, bare bone, but it's going to be beautiful. And we've got artists and makers and musicians and hobbyists and communities. We've got teachers, coaches, leaders. We've got movement. We've got yoga. We've got journaling. We've got astrologists and, all of that stuff. But we've also got community walk and talk groups and just so many different things that we try to tap into, so that anyone that walks through the door can find something or someone that they're excited about. Some of the really fun things that I encourage people to have a go at, We've got Clay Pit, who are coming in from Oswestry, who are have a go at making pottery on a proper wheel. It's like air dry clay, which I'd really recommend having a go at making a mess. Our friends Hope and Becky from Hopefully Made, you can come and screen print for free. We've got a community called Sketch Club 7 coming in, who just meet up around Shrewsbury, and you can just go and...
Is that Saffron Russell?
Saffron Russell, yeah, and Charlotte.
She's a rock star, she.
Oh, they're so cool.
Yeah.
So they're
They both are, actually. I shouldn't say I've got some obsession with Saffron Russell. She's a rock star. Nobody else exists. Right?
Yeah. So we've got loads of like creative things that, again, is hoping that people can just tap into making a mess, not needing to be perfect, maybe connect to your inner child a bit in a really safe and no one cares environment in the best way. We've got people coming in. We've got Luna Holistic Therapists and Noah Holistics, who are literally offering you a little reset massage or energy cleanse if that's what you're after. We've got loads and loads of Shrewsbury's best indie stores coming in. Have you been to the Little Shop of Joy in the Market Hall? Do you know Jo?
No.
Oh, well, you should go, because it is just dopamine central. But she's actually offering people just to have a go trying on all these crazy, colourful, flamboyant things and just feel like fun and good, and just see what it feels like to be quite expressive outwardly.
I think we're drawn to that, aren't we? You know, when I go to, I mentioned Drawn, I've been to Drawn at the Flax Mill before. Big shout out to Cherie Gerard and everybody that takes part in Drawn, they're amazing. And I remember going around that, and when you walk around something like that with a mobile microphone, you're kind of like, oh, who do I speak to? I got social anxiety. What am I going to do? But Lucy Cadell, who's got this amazing, I don't know if you know Lucy, she's got all this bright colours, and she's like dopamine dressing for your walls. And she had this big bright fruit hat on, and she was like, oh. I was like, I'm going to go speak to you.
Yeah.
Do you know, I'm drawn to that, yeah. I think I was talking about, it was something about football. We were talking about Shrewsbury Town's new football top. It's black, right? And we were talking about the science of an luminescent pink or green goalkeeper shirt, and why they wear those is because you see it and you go for it, and you automatically end up shooting the ball at the goalkeeper. We're subconsciously, we are drawn to the bright colours, right?
Yeah, and it's
mad, isn't it?
It's fun. It's just a bit of playful messiness. The space needed to be, it was absolutely essential that it felt safe and relaxed for people just to come and explore. Like, you can come and have a go at anything and leave, and you don't have to do any of it ever again. But no one's watching. You can have a good go. And I think that again then relays back into everyday life. You give yourself more permission to be explorative, creative, act on your ideas, because you also tap into that, you know, in a really literal way. So we've got a lot of space for you to create. There are some duty life sort of sections where I'll be offering like the gratitude stuff. We've got a whole station. Come and learn how to practice gratitude, worksheets or things to take home, activity ideas. We've got people coming in that create other community spaces in Shrewsbury and Shropshire that are just going to talk to you about them. So we've got like happy birthing people coming in, for instance, to support that sort of network of women and partners and young families. We've got people called Toya and Sarah who do self-love retreats, and that's all about body acceptance and body neutrality. Again,
very, very important.
Yeah, exactly. So different spaces. So we tried to really cater to many different people. And then the other really exciting thing about Happier is that we've also got classes and workshops. So we've got like Pilates, yoga, somatics, and then we've got really messy things like watercolour for beginners, flower crown making. We've got cacao and sound bath and all these crazy things. So you can really turn it into an experience, see how it feels and how it, impacts you to have a go at these things. And then then if you want to invest in that in your personal life. And then on top of that, we've got lots of space just to come and hang out. So I'm going to be there all day hosting. You can find me. I'm going to wear bright colours. I'll post about it before we're there. And my purpose for the day is just to help, chat to you, help you find friends and help you find maybe the businesses that will resonate with you most. So that's sort of my job.
I love this because when it's the 26th, right? It's the 26th of July. I can't be there. I'm working.
So sad.
Yeah, I'm so sad. But I would love if I was there. I know because I've been covering these events for years. I'd see you like running around, making sure everybody's got everything they need, and like you said, helping people. But then I'd see a moment of you where you stand and you look and you go, "I did this."
It's all right, that, isn't it?
It's not bad. Well done, Sian.
Forward to that. That was the one thing that gave me the confidence to do everything, actually. All the way back in February when we sat at my kitchen table, I could already see us on the day, like me and my closest team of happy helpers. I could see us bumping into each other in the main hall or like outside and just going, oh, we did this. And that feeling, like, it was so vivid, and I believed in it so much that that's what gave me the courage, basically, just to go for it. And now that we're only a few weeks out, like, the learning curve on this has been steep. I've been out of my depth more than once.
Are you going to start planning next year's now?
Yeah, already.
Yeah.
It's going to be so easy next year.
Infrastructure's in place.
Yeah, but that sort of, not vision, but that feeling, that intention behind the day was so vivid that every step of the way, no matter how overwhelmed or out of my depth I became or felt, I was like, it's going to be okay, because I can see us there on the day. And I'm really, at this point now, I'm just excited to be there.
I think you've got a good brand. I think your colour scheme, your Instagrams, guys, go to Happier Festival on Instagram, have a look. You'll see what I mean. It's bright, it's colourful, it is dopamine, it's great. Like, and I feel like this event is going to be welcomed by people. I really do.
I really hope so. We wanted, like, this is year one. We've already started thinking about year two, because we'd like to grow it and diversify it even more. But, there's space for you to come and be loud. There's lots of space for you to come and be quiet. And there's space for everything in between. And being able to create and, sort of hold space for all different types of people is just the privilege of a lifetime. It's the privilege of my job. Another sort of thing that I listened to once that really stuck with me so much was find what lights you up and then share it with other people, and that is just happiness, or that is the shortcut to being satisfied, enjoying yourself and feeling purposeful, which are like the main ingredients for happiness. And I was like, yeah, that's what this is. This is me sharing everything I know and love, bringing together all the other people that I love, no matter what they share, and it's us sharing it with more people. And I just think it's grounds for a beautiful day, no matter what it looks like or how it turns out.
Can I just say, this has been a really enlightening and beautiful conversation. We've never met before.
No, we haven't.
And this has been...
I feel like I've known you a long time.
I know, and I feel like we could do another hour. I really do. But I feel like just speaking to you for the last hour and nearly 10 minutes,
How long we've been going?
I know, it's crazy, right?
I can talk all day. Can you?
Oh, yeah, it's a shame to burst this bubble. I know. But you're welcome on the Biscuit anytime. If you want to come and speak truth to people, if you want to help people through I feel like anybody listening to this now, day's got a lot better just from listening to this conversation. So thank you for coming on the podcast.
It's been so enjoyable.
Tell people, do they have to pay to come in, buy tickets? I mean, how are people going to come to the festival, and when is it, where is it? Let's give us all the information.
Okay, the details.
The deets.
Happier Festival 2025. Shrewsbury Flaxmill Maltings, Saturday the 26th of July. Our doors are open 10 till 4:30. You can come for an hour, you can come for 3, you can stay all day. There's space and different spaces and different things to tap into.
That Flaxmill site is huge.
Yeah, as well. There's breakout spaces as well. We can just relax. We've got lovely food vendors. We've got some live music at lunchtime. There's a picnic area. So it really is a location for you to come and just disconnect to reconnect type thing. So it's up to you how long you stay. General admission for the whole site is £9. And this includes a multitude of included or free experiences as well. So you really don't need to come and spend more if you don't want to. That being said, if you've got a bit of pocket money, I'd recommend bringing it, because we've got so many incredible experiences, have-a-goes, and lovely little treats that you might want to dip into. And I will just say that Gelatistry are there, so you probably want to bring an extra £4 for you.
This is the ice cream shop that creates queues around
the block. Yeah.
Around the block.
So general admission is £9, but it's up to if you go onto the Instagram, we've created like different plan your days based on budget and time and stuff as well. So we want to be as accessible as possible. And yeah, so just come and drop in.
As this podcast is released, guys, the 14th, it's Monday. You got plenty of time. And people pre-book tickets.
I would recommend it because we have got a cap and we are, marching towards it. So to avoid disappointment, I would
book your tickets and plan the day out. Bring the kids. Enjoy. I mean, a lot of people now are introducing kids to well-being and well-being to kids, and these kind of great holistic and fun activities can make people's lives better. So I feel like bring the kids along, show them what's about.
Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful day, and we'd love to see anyone and everyone there. And it's a space for you to come and make your own as well. Come and be comfortable. Our thing was find your people, find your joy, but feel at home. They were the 3 principles. You'll feel very homely with us. So
you're going to get a t-shirt.
Yeah, we'll have to make some. Yeah. Becky. Sorry, I've got some new t-shirts.
There are some things I forgot to ask Sian, but what we'll do is we'll queue up things I've just set up on social media. So Sian, when it comes to starting a day off with positivity, we all have our rituals. I talk about my cold showers. My son started doing cold showers now, which is great, but he forgets to switch it back. So when I get in the shower, it's like, yeah. But like when it comes to our rituals and what we do to start off the day off with positivity, what do you suggest? What do you do? I mean, have you spoke about this with people?
So for me, it changes based on how I wake up in the morning, the mood, oftentimes the season, because I'm someone that needs my sleep. So in winter, you won't catch me up.
Just jump in the shower and get out freezing cold. Yeah.
No, that doesn't work. But I think that fluidity and grace with yourself really helps. Some people love routine and structure. I like having a few different sort of ones to choose from. But some of the things I typically do to make the day feel brighter is start with gratitude. Even if you don't write it down, like I just open the curtains. I'm quite lucky. I've got a beautiful view out of my bedroom window. I'm very privileged. And I just like normally go, wow, wow, wow. We're like the birds, the trees, the sky. Sit and savour something. So if you're a coffee drinker, often people are like, the first coffee of the day. Savouring is one of the principles of joy. So if you can be mindful or be present with what you're enjoying, so like hands on a warm cup, really taste and enjoy the first.
The aroma of the first coffee of the day, just breathing it in.
Yeah, that is one of the biggest joys in life, right? So try and find something to savour before you get in the rush and the mania of the day. I do my very best not to pick up my phone anymore because that's
madly. That's the first thing I do.
Yeah, well, I think it's the first thing that all of us do. And there's a lot of, I think sometimes there can be a bit of shame around it, like, you shouldn't be doing that. But it's pretty natural. Most of our alarms are on our phones, you do it straight away. But I tend to set off my alarm and then really try, even if it's just, go and brush my teeth, open, have 5 minutes before picking it up. That really helps.
I chase dopamine in the morning. That's really bad, isn't it? Because I pick up my phone and then I'll have like nice comments on the social media stuff, and then I found out yesterday a reel that I put up got like thousands of views, and I was like, oh, that was how I started my day off. But like, you don't always get that, do you? So it's like if you're chasing that, you don't get it, you're kind of like bummed out a little bit.
It's completely up to you. I mean, there's so much noise in health and wellness, and I think we've also made it really like an issue of morality, and I really don't like that because that's so demotivating. If you're doing something that everyone thinks is wrong or bad, you can feel bad about yourself, and that's not an environment conducive for change and well-being. So I personally try not to beat myself up for anything and just go, do you know what, I'll do it differently tomorrow, because I feel like it, not because I should or I have to. But yeah, definitely gratitude. Definitely try and enjoy something. I have to say, and this, the health police won't like this, I love sweet things in the morning. So I tend to start my day either with, I don't know, jam on toast, or I've been on Cocoa Pops this week like a child. Cocoa Pops and almond milk.
You can't beat a bowl of Cocoa Pops, you really can't.
You can't. I'd rather be. So having that, but really, don't have your phone on, don't have the news on, have the doors, open your doors and windows. That's my number one tip.
We've started doing that now, because I'm in an upstairs apartment, and the lady above us was like, in hot days like this, you can't just have your windows open, you've got to push them open, and then on the other side of the apartment, open them ones too. And once we learned how to do that, this is like, even on the hottest days, there's this nice breeze that runs through our apartment, and I could just stand there in the hallway like, oh, it's amazing.
Fresh air. Oh my gosh, we don't talk about it enough. Just go outside. Please go outside. It's amazing. If
you've got a lawn outside, nice lawn, go out bare feet and get your crunchy your toes up in the, not my toes bad, but you can crunch your toes up in the grass. That's
Absolutely.
Great grounding. This has been really good.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed this. So, again, we did this little bit because I was going, I forgot to ask you about the thing. Yeah, I was doing it. So
the other thing is, if you go onto Happier Festival, I've interviewed all of the exhibitors, and one of the questions I asked them was, what's one thing you do to make each, daily life a little bit lighter, brighter, or happier?
Yeah.
And that's basically been everyone's cheat codes, like their rituals. So,
but I love Harry Mack. He's a freestyle rapper, probably one of the best in the world. But I used to love his YouTube. He used to do these Amigo bars and these freestyle. He used to do all this amazing stuff. But one of the things I loved is his videos of how he does his mornings. And his ritual is get up, have coffee, sit on his porch and journal for a bit.
Lovely.
Then he goes out and has a run. He comes back, he showers, he's ready for the day. That is his morning. I'm like, that's beautiful.
Don't give away your time. Your time is yours. And I think one of the most important things, especially when it comes to joy, you have to pick it every day. And some things will have to be sacrificed. Like, my dishes are not always clean. Or sometimes the laundry basket is just overflowing and I have to go out and buy new socks. Because actually, if you really want to enjoy yourself in a busy life like we have now, something has to give. And give yourself permission to give it. Let go of perfectionism and just, rather than getting up and going straight to your emails or straight to your desk, have that lovely morning of yours, because you deserve it. You deserve to have a nice day every day, not just
happier is better.
Yes.
Thank you very much, John.
Thank you.
So there we go. Just to interject there, just to throw in a little bit at the end, because this is a long episode, but a good one. It was just organically long. And people ask me how long my podcasts are all the time. And I say, well, it's however long the conversation lasts, really. I mean, that sounds like a really snotty answer, but no, I feel like an hour is about kind of right. But if it goes on for a little bit longer, like today did, then wow, wonderful. But to add on to what I asked you guys about, the positive rituals do you do to start off a day positively? What do you do to make sure your days start off the way you want them to? I mean, I mentioned to Sian that I look at my phone. It's not for a dopamine hit. It's more to make sure everything's okay. Check my messages, see if people have written any comments about stuff with the podcast. That's the kind of thing I look for. Then I'll do like everybody else, jump in the shower. But music, I think, is really important for me. If I don't get my music in the morning because I'm getting up really early for work, I don't want to wake the family up, I'll listen to it in the car. If I've got the luxury of having my speaker in the bathroom with me, I'll put on some music while I'm showering. I've got a bad toe at the moment, so I have to dress that or soak it and dress it. That's kind of normal. But coffee, and I love coffee, like nice strong coffee, just hovering over that mug, taking in the aromas. Genuinely, I love that. That's my favorite thing. So music, coffee, and making sure everybody's okay with my phone. That's really important. But what did you guys put? On Instagram, we had Shrewsbury Influencer. Big shout out to doing amazing work in Shrewsbury for a long time as well. So anybody that's going out there and spreading the awareness of how amazing Shrewsbury is, I'm always going to think you're ace. So Shrewsbury Influencer put morning affirmations and one main goal per day. That gets it done. So ticking off a list. I do to-do lists all the time, and I used to make them like super complicated, like finish doing a long episode and do that. Like, I feel like sometimes if you put really basic things on a list and then tick them off, I feel like that's a really cool thing. It gives you a little bit of achievement, I think. Vix was in the comment. She put listen to your favorite podcast. What's your favorite podcast? You listen to this now, but what's your actual favorite? I mean, the Shrewsbury Biscuit's always a go-to, right? Number 2, a healthy breakfast. Sometimes I grab breakfast, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I get my first break at work or something. 3, positive affirmations. This is a good one. Positive affirmations. What we're going to do today? Today we're going to kick some serious butt, and we're going to get out there and do it. Okay, that's cool. Listen to some upbeat music. Again, music universally just brilliant, isn't it? My friend Jane put the 3 S's. Whatever could you mean, Jane, by the 3 S's? I don't know what that is. Getting ready. Okay, that's what she means. You're getting ready. Okay. Listen, thank you so much again to Liv and the guys from Shrewsbury Coffee House. Amazing place. Thank you to Sian for this great interview. Go to order your tickets now, folks, because this festival is only around the corner. So if you go to Duty Life, WTYlife.com, we've already discussed what duty means, which is quite cool. And then there's a link there for the Happier Festival. If you click on that, doing it as we speak. There's a button there where you can book tickets for the 26th of July at the Flax Mill. I can't be there working, but I want you guys to go there and have a good time. It's £9 for a ticket, but in that you get so much. There's free parking. It's the Flax Mill. There's so much to look and see and do, as Sian has mentioned. So make sure you get your tickets now. And in fact, I'll make it easier on the readout for this podcast, on the blurb. I'll put the link as well, and I'll share it on my Facebook as well. So there we go. Get to the Happier Festival on the 26th of July. I'm going to get out of here. This has been a long one. It's a very hot Sunday, and I'm editing this to go out tomorrow. So time is of the essence, folks. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll catch you on the next one, which is going to be our coverage of Shrewsbury Food Festival. I kind of pushed that along because it was immortalised by my microphone. Those exist now in whatever sphere audio exists in the world of the Shrewsbury Biscuit. So that'll be the next episode, and I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you. But for now, get out of here, go and enjoy your day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out, folks.